The water pipe in the church cemetery burst, and all the skeletons were washed onto the ground. The priest told the investigators that the bodies buried here had been buried for at least 50 years. However, the male skull recently discovered by the investigators had been buried for no more than 5 years. What's most important is that this body wasn't in a coffin. The intern noticed signs of trauma on the forehead, speculating that this might be the fatal wound. It seemed like a murder case with a body dump. The water pipe had been intentionally damaged with an iron shovel, suggesting someone had been digging up graves late at night and accidentally severed the main water pipe in the process. Angela created a sketch of the victim's face based on facial features, and the investigators immediately went to the church to investigate. After the prayer, the investigators distributed the sketch to the crowd. One boy stepped forward and seemed to recognize the person in the sketch. Angela then added a mustache to the image for further identification. The boy confirmed that the person looked very much like Father Otto, the former priest of the church. Tony, the current priest, mentioned that he had replaced Otto 3 years ago. Otto had voluntarily resigned from his position back then. The priest didn't seem to speak kindly of Otto. On the other side, Hu Jin found traces of trace amounts of gold at the fracture site. Combining this with the previously found iron shovel, it was speculated that the person who dug up the pipe was likely a grave robber. The fractures seemed to have been caused by the robber forcibly pulling out jewelry. Tony explained that the cemetery had always been managed by the priest. Throughout their conversation, Tony appeared to be showing symptoms of physical discomfort. The investigators quickly realized that this was a sign of fungal infection due to prolonged contact with corpses. Angela then retrieved the records of the deceased buried here and found that the burial items were all highly valuable. It seemed that Otto's death was likely connected to these jewels. At this moment, Camille brought some bad news. Due to the presence of fungi in the bodies in the cemetery, and the fact that the laboratory staff had all come into contact with the bodies, everyone involved was at risk of infection. The investigators checked the records of the Centers for Disease Control and discovered that 3 years ago, someone had already been infected with this type of fungus. That person was the only case in the area at the time. Sam explained that he had worked odd jobs at the parish and suspected he had contracted the fungus there. However, the investigators then presented a jewelry auction list, which had Sam's name on it, and the auctioned items were the stolen artifacts. Faced with the evidence, Sam admitted that he was a drug addict and had stolen the jewelry to buy drugs, but he firmly denied killing Otto. He also told the investigators that Otto had a special preference. He was only interested in young boys. He gave the investigators a name, the boy who had recognized Otto in the church. The boy explained that he had been abandoned by his parents at the age of 3 and that Otto had taken care of him ever since. Their relationship was like that of a father and son. But because they were together all the time, others began to think Otto had strange tastes, and even the priest didn't believe in their relationship. The priest even said that Otto would get what he deserved. The intern discovered fractures on the pubis, fibula, and ribs, but these injuries were not inflicted before death. It was speculated that they were caused when the body was being buried. Hu Jin found a metallic substance on the skull, which appeared to be silver. The investigators then went to the church to investigate and found a silver chalice on the table. The investigators took the chalice without God's permission, and Hu Jin confirmed that the silver on the chalice matched perfectly with the substance found on the skull.